Bonjour, everyone. Hi. That means that's Potawatomi, by the way. Bonjour is Potawatomi for hello. Hi. I'm Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page where I'm doing this live stream Sunday through Thursday. And if you really, really like spiritual conversations and conversations about spirit, then you came to the right place because we do this Sunday through Thursday. Sunday through Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, right? And this is the Spiritual Roundtable, and I'm your host, Neshi Lokotz. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to everybody that's in the live chat. Thank you for being here. And all those that will be watching the recorded version of this, thank you so much as well. We really do like our recorded shows because a lot of times the hosts, including me, sometimes we're in meetings or we're running errands or doing all kinds of stuff when the show is live streaming. And so we're able to watch the recorded version of it, which is really good too, right? I like it. Lots of times I listen just to the audio to be able to do other things at the same time, like doing dishes or something like that, right? And so I'm able to listen at the same time. And then you have to quick dry your hands to make a comment. So today is Monday, August 5th. And I have to say here in Tomah, Wisconsin, where I live, it's in the northwestern part of the state, it's a kind of a mixed bag of weather. It's hot, it's humid. We're supposed to be getting storms later this afternoon. And honestly, I don't mind that, right? Like watching them, having them come in. We call that Gamisho Masaynan. That's Potawatomi for Grandfather the Thunders. Right? We're going to talk a little bit about that in the card draw today too. But before we get further down the road with this live stream, I'm going to take my phone and I am going to, did you see George go behind? Yeah, he's coming in to lay underneath the table. That's his job, He holds the container, the energy container for us for the show. That's his job. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send the live stream over to my news feed, and we're calling that sprinkling. We're going to sprinkle it over to the news feed so that my friends remember that I'm live streaming. And we invite you to do the same thing, to send it to a friend, to send it to your news feed, is to share it. Right? Oops, I said that S word again. I can't seem to break that habit. So I'm sending it over to my news feed. And we're just going to ask my friends, let them know, first of all, that I'm live streaming. And I'm going to ask them to come up to play in the live chat. And we're going to do a couple of emojicons to that. There we go. And I know that Stephanie's not going to be in the house today because we communicated a little bit earlier today. She homeschools her son, and so they're out having an excursion for his education. So I know that she's not going to be in the show, in the live stream. And so I'm going to share it. I'm going to send the live stream over to the closed group. The Star Nations live stream shows, their closed group there, and just to let the peeps know that I am live streaming. Here we go. And of course, we're always asking them to come out and join us. Here we go. There. Good. It doesn't take long. Those quick keys really help a lot, don't they? There. Every time my phone updates, I always go, oh, there goes my quick keys again. All right, so let's check to see who is in the chat today. Oh my goodness, one of my sisters is in the house, Christine Pollock. Hello, Christine. Hello. It's good to have you here. See your shiny face in the live stream. Julie Hedges is here too. Hello, Julie. Joining in late, but right on time. Right, always. Always. Divine timing. Perfect. Spread the love on my page. Yay. Thank you, Julie. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I really do. I've been sharing this a lot lately. It's about Star Nation's live stream shows. Did you know that Star Nation's organization, where the live stream show falls under that umbrella, that we have 14 live stream shows a month, every month, here at Facebook. And they're all the topics are spiritually based, right? So we cover a really wide range of topics and belief systems and conversations, and yeah, it's pretty good. Really, really good. And out of those 14 shows, we have 10 live stream show hosts. That's a lot. That's a lot. And so we have fun all month long. We cover serious topics, and we cover sometimes topics that are really kind of hard to put into verbalness and words and that kind of thing, but we still do it anyway. And we also have fun too. So welcome. And I hope you guys, take some time and go visit some of our other shows too. So today the card draw, very interesting. We've gotten a couple of cards that we haven't drawn in this past month, and we're still using this deck. It's the Shaman Wisdom cards by Laida Richardson, right? And it's copyrighted 1998. And we've been doing this live stream show based on the card draw in the morning, because it is the spark to the conversation, right? And one of the things that we've noticed is that we, depending on when the cards were created, right? Many times what we're able to do, because we live in a little bit different, or sometimes really different vibrational field than when the cards were first developed, is that we have to look at it from a more expansive viewpoint. And that has been a real eye-opener. And to be able to have that kind of conversation here. And we've had some pretty deep conversations, haven't we, guys? Yeah. It's good stuff. So the first card that came today is Spirit of the West. It's the western part of the wheel. It's number 61 in the card deck, right? And the words associated with it is feminine. I tried to fix my camera this weekend, and I thought I had it fixed, but it doesn't look like it. Feminine, fall as in autumn, adult, and earth. Adult and earth. There we go. Okay. And when I was reading the information about this first card, one of the things I went back to take a look at in the information that the author gives, in the 65 cards, she has them divided up into categories. And there is a category that she calls the 7 great directions. Okay, so the 7 directions are the 4 cardinal directions, right? Grandmother Earth, Grandfather Sky, and within. That's the 7 directions that she talks about. And here is what she said about this, and I'm going to read it to you because I think it's really important that we keep this in mind and in heart as we go over the information, okay? She says, when a great direction card appears in your array, it is to be read literally as a spiritual direction, course, or heading. There are only 7 direction cards, so these cards are very powerful and their message significant. If you get a direction card and a cardinal direction point in an array, that card's message is magnified and the direction point message should be also read. Okay? So the reason why I share this with you is because we have 2 2 directional cards in this card draw today. And wait till you see which one it is, right? Okay, so the West. The West on the medicine wheel. One of the things that we know about the West is that it's about the element of water and emotions. It's about our heart. Right? And our physical maturation on the wheel at this point in the West is we're adults. We're adults. We've been adults for some time now, right? We're not in our 20s. We might be kind of in our mid 30s to our 60s in the West, okay? And so we've had some life experiences already. We've gone through a few, if not many, life lessons by this point. And so we have some experience under our belt by the time we get to the western part of the wheel. And in the West is the sunset, right? The energy of the sunset, the ending of a day, right? And the beginning of the night. It's during that time frame of dusk. And there's another word that's used for this time of day. It's called gloaming, Gloam, gloam. It's in that in-between spot. The betwixt and the between. It's not quite daytime and it's not quite nighttime. And the Celts, the ancient Celts, have a certain saying about that, and that is, it's in the betwixt and the between is where the magic is. And so the West is one of those places. One of those places. So I'm going to say hi to a couple people here in the chat. Rochelle is here. Hello, Rochelle. Hey, Rochelle. Oh, there she is. She says that she sprinkled. The camera looks good. Thank you. Thank you. And are you grounded today, Rochelle? Because usually she tells us that too. And Rochelle said, today my son Joe's birthday is 44. Oh, happy birthday, Joe. I hope he has a good day. Deborah's here too. Hi, Deb. Hi, Deb. Deb and I had an excursion last week. We had lunch last week. Julie says, great info about the 7 directions and the significance of the message is in the deck. Yes. I thought when I read the information and I went back to take a look at how this particular author, how she relates to the medicine wheel. And when I saw that when she has one of the categories as the 7 great directions, I wanted to take a look at that. And I think that it's really important that we keep that piece of information in our minds and in our hearts as we share about the West, right? Okay. So here is what she says about the West. She writes, I am the West. I am sunset. I am dusk. I am the most powerful time of day. I am the crack in the universe. I am the space between worlds. I am the color black. I am where the sun dies. It is here where things start and also where things end. It is death, it is rebirth. Listen to your intuitions. Listen to the woman within us all. Feel your emotions. This is a place of sacred dreams, a place of psychic powers. You journey within yourself, seeking inner vision and introspection, which can provide great healing. Do not be afraid of transformations. There is security in change. I have come of age. I am an adult. I am moving. I am dance. I am movement. Spirit of the West. Number 61 in the card deck, that's a 7, and that's all about spirit, right? Now, here's the thing about this deck is that she also created this deck all about balance, peace, and harmony, right? And so that we're constantly reaching for and creating balance, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. Okay? And so this particular card, when we look at it, it is really a female energy card because there is very little masculine. Got to get my camera to focus. Focus, camera. There we go. There is very little divine masculine with this card. The West is feminine. The fall is feminine. The earth is feminine. The adult can be either or both. Right? Yeah. So it's a very feminine card. Strongly feminine. Very powerful. And what we know about the divine feminine or the sacred feminine energy that we all carry, whether we're male or female, is that it's all about nurturing, creation, right? Compassion, empathy. That's when it's balanced. And I think we can all understand when our feminine energy is out of balance. Yeah. So with this first card, I believe that Spirit is really asking us to turn our attention to our sacred feminine that we all carry, and just to sense it, feel it, notice it. You know, that many times we don't consciously turn our attention to that, right? To either one of them, really, masculine or feminine. And when we have the energy of the West and in its very strong feminine qualities, one of the things that comes out of that is a really strong intuition, right? When all of our clairs are working to their optimum. Getting those psychic hits, right? Noticing all the signs and symbols in just about everything, right? Songs on the radio, seeing numbers, feathers. We're very aware of it. And not just aware, but we take it in and we start making sense out of it, right? Logical sense, even though we're being led by our intuition. And so many of us that are awake on our journey here, right? That's one of the things that we really, really strive for is to have that intuition, to trust our intuition, to bring in those messages, right? Yeah. Even in the smallest ways. Did you ever have this happen? This is a good question for you guys. Have you ever had this happen? You get this sense or this feeling that the phone is going to ring, right? So many times I'll hear the phone ring before it actually rings. Or I'll be doing something and I'll grab the landline phone and I'll bring it with me. Why? Because I have this feeling that it's going to ring and I don't want to be upstairs and we only have one. It's not like in the old days when you'd have a phone on every level of your house, right? And I'll take it with me. And sure enough, I'll get a call. And not one of those marketing calls either, but a real person calling. And so have you ever had that happen? Right? Have you ever had that happen? Or and here's the law of attraction at work, right? You are minding your own beeswax, your own vibration, and all of a sudden you start thinking of somebody. Like I'll start thinking about Christine. She's one of my sisters, right? She'll just kind of pop into my mind, and I'm thinking, gee, I wonder what Christine's up to, right? And then all of a sudden we'll get a message, either a text message or a messenger message, or I'll hear from Christine, right? Yeah. So that is our intuition at work without us really trying really, really hard, right? Without going into meditation to make that connection. That is the energy of the West. That's the energy of the West. So let me know. Let me know. Have you guys ever had that happen with the telephone? Just about everybody has at one point or so. Let's see. Oh, I would show this. Let's see. Maybe I can. Here. Yep, I can. So Rochelle is saying Deb is there with her too. Hi, Deb. Good to have you here. Jen's here too. Good morning, Jen. Good to have you here. I love it when you're in the chat. Rochelle says, I don't want to be an adult. Well, there's an aspect of us that we do need present. That is the adult, right? It's when it gets out of balance that it's no fun. And Rochelle says, yes, a lot. Or I'll think of Deb, then she calls. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I do believe that we have all experienced that at some point or somehow, without trying, without, you know, doing your breathing techniques, right? Your deep breathing, getting into meditation position, turning off the house phone. That's what I do when I meditate. And we're not doing any of that. It just appears. It comes into our thoughts. It comes into our feelings, right? We're experiencing the energy or the spirit of the West. All right, so my scrolling in the studio for your comments is still not working. So I have to read your comments from my phone. All right, and that I can't put them up on the screen, but at least I can read them from my phone. All right, so Julie says, so funny, happened on Friday, thinking of a friend, and she messaged me on Facebook. Exactly. And Julie also says, we had lunch yesterday and played with crystals. Oh, how fun. How fun. Love that kind of stuff. And Christine saying, yes, Neshi hears me thinking about her and checking what day it is and if she might be free to chat. Exactly. Exactly. And Deborah is saying, it happens often with my daughter, or we sense when something is off with the other and we'll call each other. Right. Right. And so, that is our sacred feminine. It is our intuition. It is the empathy and the compassion that floats to the surface, and all because we're not even trying to make it happen. It just happens. That's the part of us that's the way that we're meant to live all the time, right? That's the way we're meant to live all the time. I think it's pretty cool. The other one that happens, and I don't know if you guys had this one, and it doesn't happen quite as much now that Mom is living in the same house with me, but it still happens on occasion. But many times I'll hear her calling me. I'll hear her say my name. And one time, this was pretty early in the morning. This was before her pain got so bad that she could still make her own breakfast at one point. And it was still early. It was like, I don't know, 6:30, between 6:30 and 7 in the morning. And I'm still in bed, right? And I hear this crash, and I hear her call my name. I tell you, I leapt out of bed, right? Ran down the steps, ran into the kitchen, and there's nobody there. I stood there for a second. Was I dreaming? No, I was awake. And so I go into my mom's room. I knock on the door and I go in and I asked her, "Did you call me?" And she says, "No." I said, "Were you thinking about me?" "No." "Are you okay?" "Yes." So I walk out of her room going, what in the heck was that all about? Right? Okay. So fast forward to the next. Georgie keeps kicking the light with his foot. Gotta move his foot. Okay. Fast forward to the next day. In the kitchen, I hear a crash. I'm not in bed. I'm up, but I wasn't downstairs. And I go running downstairs again, and there stands Mom with, she had dropped a glass and the glass broke, right? And it had just happened, so it was like didn't know exactly, what to do first. And so I helped her step away from the glass and walked her around it and had her sit in one of the dining room chairs. And she says, you asked me about this yesterday. I didn't call for you, but I thought about you. I thought I'm going to call her. And she goes, and I could hear you coming downstairs. So have any of you experienced something like that? That too is our intuition, but that's a precognition. A precognition. What I'm talking about is the spirit of the West. The spirit of the West. And I've told you, shared with you guys many, many times about our spirit walk here, that we are spirit in this physical body, having this physical experience, right? And on the medicine wheel, it's an energetic template. It kind of shows us. It's an energetic map. And so we're making our way from the east to the west, from sunrise to sunset. And both times a day are in the betwixt and the between. Okay? And it also is about our walk from, it's a walk from our mental mind and our thoughts and all the life lessons that takes to our emotions, to our heart. And in that lies all of our life lessons, where we gain our knowledge and our wisdom, right? So having the West card come today is really, for me, it's really spirit that is encouraging us to take a real close notice, a focus on our sacred feminine, on our intuition, on the balance of our emotions with our mental thought, to trust in our intuitions, because that is our soul speaking to us. A lot of times we say that spirit is speaking to us, right? Through our intuition. It's our soul. Our soul is saying, hey, look over here. That higher aspect of ourselves. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to catch up with you guys in the chat again. Hang on. Okay. Now here comes the second card. And the second card is also a directional card. It's one of the great seven, as she calls it. And that is, the card is Sky. It's number 64 in the deck. Sky. Masculine. Air. It's a very masculine card, sacred masculine. There is no feminine on this card at all. It's number 64. And in numerology, that's a 1. That's all about the creator. Right? Sky. So I've got a couple of things running around in my head. I was trying to figure out which one I should say first. All right, so we're going to stay with the sky piece. So when you are saying a prayer, when you're speaking to the Creator, how many of you look up? How many people in the live chat that's with us? How many of you guys, when you're connecting to the Creator, to God, whatever you call that divine being, that you look up? You know, I believe it comes down through our DNA. It comes down through our ancestors. It comes down through belief system that has been passed down from one generation to another. That we place that location of the Creator or God or Goddess up in the sky. I just find it fascinating that so many of us do that. When the Creator is everywhere, spherically, right? All around us, above us, below us, on the sides of us, in front of us, behind us, everywhere. And it's also within, right? So why do we look up? Why do we look up to the sky? Now, depending on what culture you grew up in, in indigenous cultures, many times in their indigenous language, they use the same word or a similar word that describes the Creator and the Creator of creators. Okay, so what does that mean? The Creator, who is so connected to us, right? It's all about creation and manifestation, and it helped to create what we see here around us, right? The Creator of creators, or the prime Creator, is also known as the Great Mystery. There is no way of describing that being. Where so many times, us two-leggeds, what we do is we describe God as if that being is human, two-legged, right? Yeah. And so in many indigenous cultures, you have God, or the Creator, with this, like many of you will hear me say Mauna, right? That's Creator, Earth Maker, Creator of all things. And yet that there is another being who created that Mauna, the prime Creator, also known as the Great Mystery. And in the Potawatomi language, that is known as Kejimanadu, the big spirit, the large spirit, right? Yeah. In the Lakota language, it's Wankantanka, right? But they use that phrase, or that word, that name, for both beings, the supernatural and also Grandfather Sky. So sometimes it can get a little confusing when we're talking about the sky. And here is what the author has to say about the sky, okay? This is what she has to say. She says, I am sky. I am father. I am grandfather. It is to me that all life comes. I am the place of power. Look to me for your power. It is to me, the upper world, that the shaman journeys for enlightenment and creativity. Look up to the sky for spiritual direction. It is to me that all look for the future. I am the sixth direction. I am the branches of the sacred tree of life. Lift your spirits to the heavens for my unlimited energy. I am the masculine energy, the electric, the yang, the right side. I am the Great Spirit. So we have another very powerful card here that is truly a very powerful masculine energy, right? And it's so simple in its design, isn't it? And yet it's so very profound. On the medicine wheel, that's why the center is usually doesn't have anything in it. It depends. It depends on how what belief system you grew up with, right? Some put a stone, a very large stone, in the center, but many have it as a void, seemingly empty, but it's not. It's the fullest point in the medicine wheel. The sky. Now, in the description, the author says, I am the place of power. It's me that the shaman journeys for enlightenment and creativity. Right? Whereas the card of the West is all about your own intuition. Right? You're not looking outside of yourself. It also talked about the crack in the universe, that in-between place. Right? So these two cards really balance each other out between the male and the female energies. Right? The West and the sky. Now, a thought just occurred to me. You know, in the movie or in the books as well, Lord of the Rings, right? And there is a time when Frodo Baggins, is with the fairies and the elves, and they're getting on a ship, right? And they're going to sail to the west. They're removing themselves from man. They're going further and further into the west, away from man, away from humans, right? Away from Middle Earth. It's almost like they were retiring, but they were moving further beyond the veil, and they were moving to the west. And so the only way to reach them is through your intuition, through your dreams, right? Yeah. And so when we balance out our sacred feminine and our sacred masculine, it really is about drawing on the most positive energies of both and having them flow through you as they flow through your gifts, right? Because that's our soul's expression, is through our gifts. And we are, honestly, we are at our most powerful, our most brilliant, when we are balanced and grounded, and that the energies can flow through our gifts, right? And so our soul is leading the way. Not to say that our mental mind isn't important, because it is, but it's in balance. And they say that's where we find joy and peace and love. And how many of us have been striving for that for years, right? But when we turn our attention to it, it's in those moments where we're not even trying. We're not making it, so apparent. It's just in our everyday life that if we actually pay attention to it, happens a lot more often than we actually think it does. Okay, so I'm going to catch up with you guys in the chat. Jen is saying, thought is energy. Yes, happens all the time to me when I do listen to synchronicity lessons. I know when my energy is heightened as streetlights go out as I walk or drive past them. Happens to my son too. When my energy is low, I struggle to fly high in my dreams. Yes. Yeah, and we can really do a trick with electronics too, can't we? Yeah. Especially during Mercury retrograde. I laugh about it now. I wasn't laughing last week. Christine says, yes, I look up and in. Good one. Rochelle says, sometimes she looks up when she's, speaking to the Creator, to God. Christine also says, do we look up because we think of it as a higher being? Well, that's a good question. Possible. I think a lot of it goes back to our early education through the church. That's what I think. Sunday school. Because they have, in prayer, right? They have you clasp your hands, and a lot of times they have you look up. So I think some of it is conditioning. But as adults, as we see it on the medicine wheel in the West, as an adult, we get to, trying to get my camera to focus, we get to go deeper, right, than what another adult has told us about what to do or how to do it. Many times we'll ask why to them, but most often we make that question inward. Yeah. Now I'm also really leaning into my astrology, right? Because I'm a Sagittarian, triple, and so philosophy and that sort of thing is second nature to me. And so when I read something like this, and this is where the question came about this morning, as I was drinking my celery juice, and I was thinking about, thinking about the sky information. I think, why do we look up when the Creator is all around us, literally? Why do we do that? Why do I do that? Because even when you're using a chanupa, right, a sacred pipe, and you are you've lit the tobacco, and you're saying your prayers, and before you say your prayers, you're sending the smoke in the 7 directions, right? And so when you get to the 6th direction, we point the bowl upward. So even with that, right? Even with that, I just find it fascinating. I don't think that there's a right or a wrong. I don't think that's what this is about at all. I think it has more to do with us sitting back and taking this like, yeah, that is true. Why do I do that? And if it's good for you, then that's fine. But if it's not, it's like then we get to sort it out, right? And see what really is supporting us or what is helpful to us, and we keep that and we release anything that's less than that. Yeah. Okay. So, hey, Marie's here. Hi, Marie. She says, good afternoon. I made it. Yay. And Christina says, 7 and 1 is 8. Oh, 7 and 1 is 8. Did I mispronounce that? I did. 7 and 1? There's no 7 on here, though. It's 6. I know my camera is kind of funky. It's 6 and 1. There's no 7 on here. Or are you adding them together? It's 1. That's 10. Oh, I see. You're adding them together. Okay. Yeah, you're right. If you put them together, it is a sign of infinity. Balance. Balance of giving and receiving, which is another thing, right? Between male and masculine energy. The female is nurturing and is usually giving, and the masculine is usually in the receiving. Right? Good one, Christine. Got to high five you on that one. Yay. That's a good one. Like it. Don't you just love this kind of conversation? I do. And keep track of the time too. Jen is saying, yes, conditioning to see God Almighty as separate from us, when in actual fact, we are God and source. Exactly. And Christine says, you got it. It took me a second, but hold the phone, Joan, because we have a third card, right? And the third card is red coral. Red coral. It is the 49th card in the deck. It's about feminine, the first chakra, and fire. Red coral. All right. 13, the number 13. It's a 4. 4 is all about the earth. And for some people, it's about the angels. But the number 4 is about the 4 directions. Coral. It's funny because we were just talking about coral. Was it 2 days ago? Right. I think it was on Sunday, or maybe it was last Thursday. We were talking about coral because one of the cards was silver. And I had said that a lot of Native American jewelry that's made in the Southwest, what they do is they use silver when they're working, especially when they're working with turquoise and coral, because the silver is a part of the alchemy in that. Right? Yeah. Interesting. All right. So with red coral, the balance here, right, is you have a lot of feminine energy again between the first chakra and the coral, because it's from the water. But it balances out because you have fire, which is a very masculine energy, and the color red is a very masculine energy. The color red goes a long way. That's how intense it is. Right? The color red is a motivator, It gets things moving. It's a very energizing color. But if you have too much of it, then you're into aggression and violence, right? Yeah. But coral. And I was just thinking about the number 13 as well. The number 13, outside of traditional numerology, number 13 can be seen as an unlucky number, right? There's some superstition around that. Some hotels, they don't have a number 13 hotel room. They don't have a 13th floor, that kind of thing. Yeah. But that, to me, that kind of is bending energy. Because the number 13 is a very spiritual number, right? Number 13, when you think about it, we have lots of 12s. We have 12 months, we have the 12 apostles, we have a lot of 12s, right? But when you add that next one, the 13th, you start a new octave. You start a new octave. And also, in creation, in fertilization is that there's 13 sperms that they need 12 sperms to weaken the wall around the egg. Okay? And it's that 13th sperm that has an opportunity to make it through the wall, the cell wall, to enter into the egg. All right. And so you have the sperm that are acting together in concert together, 12 to weaken the wall, and the 13th one is to be able to penetrate the wall. And that fertilizes the egg. Then you have cell division. Okay. So number 13 is a really magical number. A lot of things happen on that 13th number. Just a little trivia there too, right? All right, so here is what the author has to say about red coral. She says, I'm going to get this in focus for you first. There we go. She says, I am red coral. I am from the ocean, yet I am the blood of Mother Earth. I am your protection against natural emergency and personal misfortune, and the courage you need for survival. I have exceptional healing, cleansing, rebuilding, and invigorating power. At my foundation is passion that can be excited to rage. I am the stone of the home, of safety and well-being. You can rely on my wisdom to assist in your journey. Remember the ocean from where I come and protect my home as I protect yours. Red coral. So when I was reading this morning, there was a couple things that really jumped out at me. The part where she says, yet I am the blood of Mother Earth. And many indigenous people, we really believe that water is sacred because it is the blood of Grandmother Earth. And so when we take it in, it's a blessing from Grandmother, that we're literally taking her inside of us. Okay, and it's nourishing. We can't live without water. Goes on to say that I have exceptional healing, cleansing, rebuilding, and invigorating power. Okay, so it's a very active, and we need that in creation. In the creation process, we need to have that motivator, right? And so when we bring these three cards together, this card, coral, is the one that in and of itself is balance. It's balance between the feminine and the masculine.
And that first chakra, right? That first chakra is all about our protection. It's all about our survival, right? It's about being grounded. And we need that first chakra to manifest. We need that first chakra in its wholeness and its healthiness, in its optimal, to have nearly immediate manifestations coming into the earth plane. It's one of the reasons why we talk a heck of a lot about healing our emotional and mental traumas, because it all affects our root chakra, right? And if you've ever listened to or watched any of Polly Joe's shows on chakra sessions, and when she's talking about the first chakra, a lot of times she's talking about how we manifest, right? And what we're healing and why we need to heal and have that balanced and connected. Yeah. So, this is all interconnected, right? It's all interconnected. And so, what does coral have to do with the spirit of the West, and how these last two cards support the message coming from the spirit of the West, right? For us today. So I'm going to show you the three together. And we found out that it's most helpful to have you call to your full spiritual team for them to be present consciously, to have them with you. You can take a nice big deep breath, and as you exhale, be intention focused on the information that's coming from the cards directly to you, right? All right, so have your team with you. All right, I'm going to show the cards. You can go ahead and take your big deep breath in. And on the exhale, asking your spiritual team to help you to bring in the information that's most important for you to gather from the energy from these cards, optimal for you, to be able to see both the unseen and the seen energy, to take them in, right? Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. Really take in the energy of the cards. Because when we're talking about the spirit of the West here was our first card. And it was all about a very, your feminine, your sacred feminine energy being present, being very powerful, very big energy. It's about tapping into your intuition, using all of your clairs. And it comes to you so easily and so naturally, your intuition, your sacred feminine, compassion and nurturing. Being in that place of in between, where the magic is. Right? And then we balance that out with the sacred masculine to have us balance our feminine and masculine energies, but also to balance our mental mind with our emotions, our heart. And when we do that, Spirit's telling us that we have achieved a balance, that we have achieved a way to be able to heal those emotional and mental traumas that we may have, coming from life lessons. And that we have a balance with our sacred feminine and our sacred masculine. That we're motivated over here to go into the creation and the manifestation. They're showing us how to be a whole being in a balanced, grounded way, to be able to tap into our sacred feminine and our sacred masculine energies, so that we really feel our soul empowered, right? Empowered. That's a big reading, I think. Jenna's saying, me too, the rivers on the earth look like the veins on our body. Yes, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, it's a good reading. One of the things that I asked for in this particular card draw was to give us information where we can draw our own aha moments, our insight, to be insightful, to help us to understand those aspects of ourselves that maybe we don't always take the time to turn our attention to. And this is what came today. So if it resonated with you, any part of it, right, is to embrace it and then watch and see, sense, feel how today's energy is unfolding around you and where this information could be helpful, right? How you can apply it to your day, or maybe just even understand it a little bit better, right? And if it didn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's all right. There's always tomorrow's cards, right? Yeah. So, we have kind of a big week for you guys here on Star Nation's live stream shows. Holy smokes, we got a packed week for you guys. I know we're at the top of the hour, but I want to make sure that I give you some of the information here, because we have so much going on. It's like tonight, Monday night, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, is the Therapy Center with Patty Heredia. And Patty is talking to us and sharing quite a bit about hypnosis with us tonight. What is it? What can you expect from it? She has a guest with her tonight. And so if you've ever wondered about hypnosis, or perhaps, you have hypnosis really helped you, you can always come in and be a part of the conversation, right, from the chat room. And so that's at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, the Therapy Center with Patty Heredia. All about hypnosis tonight. And then tomorrow at noon Eastern Time is Chakra Sessions with Polly Jo, and she's talking about releasing empathic overload. Empathic overload. And so that's at noon tomorrow, August 6th, Tuesday, at noon Eastern Time. And then on Tuesday night, August 6th, is my weekly evening show, Communications from Home. And we're going to be talking about something that Spirit gave it to me, was the 80-20 of positivity. The 80-20 of positivity. Yeah. How much time do we spend on being positive or being negative, right? So we're going to talk about that on Tuesday night. Wednesday is Soul Connections with Polly Jo, and that's on at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm sorry, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And that is an evening of divine healing and divine messages. And Thursday is Life Wisdom with Ed Langdon. Ed's show, let me tell you, I love it. He's going to be talking about keeping your heart open, right? And when we live in such a crazy time and busy time, how do you keep your heart open when you're flat out busy like that, right? And so he's going to be sharing some stuff with us on how to do that. He's also going to be doing some leading us in tapping to release any of the blocks to keeping your heart open. And then he's also going to be doing some channeling from his guide. So if you have any questions, you can ask and his guides will give you an answer. Okay, so remember, the more specific your question, the more specific the answer, just so you know. And then on Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time is the monthly free mini class at Star Nations Academy closed group. And it's part 2 of How to Stay in Meditation with Orchard and Carl Franklin. It's on Thursday night. So we had a little technical difficulty last month, and Orchard wanted to come back and make sure that that you guys got the information. So we're calling it part 2. Okay. We also have a special show coming up on Sunday with the Tarot Journey and Julie Hedges. And I have that information not at my fingertips. I thought it was here. Rats. Julie, are you still in the chat? Could you give us a little tidbit on that? That would be nice. Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much for being with me today for the Spiritual Roundtable. I'm here Sunday through Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time for the show, Spiritual Roundtable. Please, you can join me tomorrow, and we'll have another spiritual conversation based on the card draw, because today's was really good. I got a lot out of this one. Thank you so much for being here, and also for watching the recorded show as well. All right. So, Bama Mina. That means in Potawatomi, until we see each other again. Love you guys.